Do you guys know what it's like to work at a hotel during a pandemic? No? Let me tell you. But first, let me take a drink. Okay. So I work at a nice beachside resort in Charleston, and we decided to reopen on the Wednesday after Mother's Day for homes and condos to come reserve, and then the regular hotel on Friday. And we were not expecting a typical summer at all because, the pandemic is still very real. The virus is still very real. And the fact of catching it is still, well, you guessed it, very real. Guests don't care. The weather was nice. They heard we were open. And it was like the floodgates opened and they came in. Obviously, because the virus is still very real, we have precautions that we need to be taking, and the guests are solely convinced that any of the precautions that we're taking are inconveniences that we have placed to impose on their vacation. Example 1. Because of the CDC guidelines and the virus and everything else, we have had to limit the amount of number of people that we can have in our pools. The best way for us to do that was to make guests need to reserve times for the pool online, and once we hit the cap, sorry not sorry, like, you can't go in the pool. I don't know what to tell you. The way these guests reacted was indescribable. They were downright rude. They told us that we were ruining their vacation, that they had crying kids, and that we were ruining their kids' lives, and this and that, and blah, 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 whatever. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You can complain and be upset as much as you want, but that's not going to change the fact that I'm going to let you in the pool. The reservations are full. I don't know what you want me to do. Call the CDC and say, hey, Susie Homemaker and her 3 homeschooled kids can't get in the pool, so can you, flex on your guidelines? So that is the first thing. The second thing was a guest who actually told one of our people who works at the front desk that her wearing a mask and gloves was unacceptable because she came to the resort to escape the virus, and my agent wearing a mask and gloves was making it impossible for her to do that. Do you want to escape the virus? We'll take the mask and the gloves off and ask everybody else around you to, and then you'll probably contract it, and then unfortunately that will be how you escape it. Really, I don't understand people. We have these plexiglass barriers around our desks because of protection, and I will admit it's hard to hear through them, but you know what? I will enunciate, I'll repeat things, whatever. There's a little hole on the bottom of it for us to pass guests or keys or whatever we need to do. I cannot tell you how many times people have literally tried to bend their head and put their face into that hole. No, sir. It is there so that way there is a barrier between us. Don't break the barrier. It's not that hard to understand. Then you have the guests who get so upset about anything. The pool, the fact that we're not doing daily housekeeping to avoid people coming in your room and infecting you, because we have your safety at our best interest. I spoke to this woman on the phone the other night, and I kid you not, she sounded like an espresso machine. When I was explaining to her certain things that were and weren't available, she was like, I don't know what to say. And I was on the phone with her, and I wanted to say, if you have nothing to say, can we hang up? Because I've got a bunch of other people who are waiting to tell me what they have to say, even though it's going to be the same old song and dance that you're giving me. Why do you have to sound like an espresso machine? And then, on top of it, she says, well, I know it's not your fault. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said that, Good, I'm glad that you know it's not my fault. Because it's not my fault. But you're still yelling at me about it and still thinking that it's something I can magically change. I just don't get it. So the moral of this story is, if you decide that you need to go on vacation to escape this pandemic, I understand it's been stressful for people. I understand parents who never thought they were going to homeschooled kids. I understand that people lost jobs and income and that it's a super unsettling time. I get that, and I could see why I would maybe need to escape. I'm just asking that you think about the other side of the story for a second and think about maybe why the person that's talking to you is wearing a mask, why there's a plexiglass shield there, and why we are capping reservations in the pool. And then smile and move on and just be happy that you are lucky enough to have a reservation, to be at the beach, and to be healthy enough to be traveling.